All right. So with that, I'll stop sharing and we will be good to go. Right? I think it's you now.
Amazing. Thanks, Gary. Congratulations. You
Yeah.
didn't suffer from the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you know what I mean? And now it's my turn to tempt the demo gods, you know?
Yep. Yep.
So, first of all, I guess I should confirm, am I coming in too loud, too quiet? What would you say?
No, no, pretty good, pretty good.
Beautiful. So I guess you can see that I'm rich because I have net tokens,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Um, I guess I should say for the people who don't know who I am, my name is Michael Jagdeo. I'm broadcasting from North America. You might know it as the Socialist Democracy of Canada. And I'm really glad to be here. Thanks, Zero to Clarity and Gary and Hero and the rest of the team for inviting me in to all of the spaces going back 6 months. So I've been here for about 6 months. So I'm a new G, not an old G. You'll discover quickly today that, to be honest with you, I'm not even a developer. Um, but I can copy and paste code pretty good. And I can ask good questions. And today, if you can ask good questions, you can get really good answers. So I'd love for this to be an interactive session instead of me just talking at you. Maybe we can build something or do something or analyze something or create a prototype even while we're speaking right now. That might sound crazy, but today with AI, the time between ideation and manifestation has never been shorter. And because we all are here, because we know the future is here, but it's not evenly distributed yet, there's a lot we can do. So I'm not a developer, but I am being mentored by developers. I'm being mentored by Paul, by Rocky, by Vance, and they've showed me how to do everything I'm going to show you today. I'm going to stop there. Is there anything that anyone wants me? You can put in the chat or you can just unmute. Anything that anyone wants me to cover in particular before I begin? If not, no worries. So what I'll do is show you a bunch of stuff and maybe that will help get your juices flowing. So what I decided to do today is start with a brief overview for the advanced people in the room, because I know there's a lot of advanced people in the room, but I'm only going to spend about 2 minutes with the advanced people and then go to the beginners in the room and then address the immediates. Make sense?
Mhm.
I don't want the advanced people waiting around too long for the main thrust of the talk. So if you have not downloaded Cursor yet, you probably use Visual Studio Code to code today. And within Visual Studio Code, you can use essentially OpenAI or Microsoft's AI to code. Sometimes, though, uh, using OpenAI, unless you have a paid account, the amount of text you can digest at any one time is sometimes limited. And that's where one of Microsoft's or OpenAI's competitors come in. Amazon's Claude Sonnet AI. And that has a huge context window that you can, analyze 500-page PDFs like you're having a Dorito, you know? And so this is cursor.com, very quick to download and install. And for the advanced people, again, I'll just spend a bit of time with you. If you're in Stacks and you're a developer, you probably have something that looks like this. And every day you go into Clarinet console and you start writing stuff, right? I imagine that's life for most people, right? Now, on the left, I have the project files. On the bottom, I have the terminal. On the top, I have the code. And if I want to get AI to write code, as you can see here, it says Command or Apple L to chat, Command Apple K to generate. Again, I'm using cursor.com. Command L to chat or Command K to generate. Let's try pressing Command L. Uh-oh. Let's try pressing Command K. Now I can prompt from within the code. So I can say, write the next logical step for a noob like me. I have no idea what it's going to do. We sacrifice to the gods, and it looks like it gave us code. Now, am I a developer or a backseat driver? That's for you to decide. But the other thing you can do, and I'll stop for questions after this, is imagine that I can use AI beside my code editor to say, hey, you see this thing I'm learning from Seth Zeus and the 100 Days of Clarity? Can you explain this code as if I'm a fan of, I don't know, Harry Potter? No, no. Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. And you can imagine what it's going to do. While I show you the output, I'll pause for any questions, comments, and violent disagreements.
I think it's great. And I also think that, like, you bring up a good point. I actually think that, as if knowing what to ask, that logic is extremely difficult in the sense that, like, so for me, when I see people using AI to build things, not just one page, but like the things that are connected and working well together, like, I see that person as a developer, because again, I just think that it's all about not necessarily what you write, but how you think about what you're writing. So asking the right questions is extremely useful, as you said, valuable.
And also having mentors there for emotional support.
Yeah.
That's like my secret to learning code. I had mentors that were willing to sit with me while I was freaking out because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Now, as we're talking, sorry, I'll just say this. As we're talking, you can see that it just wrote a test, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Now, I don't know how to run a test. I'm on day 7. But for the audience that is at your level or just about at your level, I know that already they're probably just ignoring this and ignoring me talk and already using this. I'll pause there.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. And like for me, that's where I get weird. I'm like, yeah, you can write, like, I'd rather AI write the code, and then I'll run the test, because it's like, all right, if you're gonna do the test too, you're just gonna tell me it's good. But that's just stupid paranoia. The reality is the tests are just as fine. But yeah, I mean, look, bottom line is we can run our own tests. I mean, that's how we can assert whether what the AI has put together for us makes sense or not. And I think that's really cool. So regardless how you do it.
10. So what if we wanted to write the test and then the smart contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's writing both,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's doing, but I know you guys know what it's doing.
Well, that's the other thing, is like to be able to actually go through the line and say, okay, like, it's using a trait, then it's defining some sort of thing, it's calling it a test, and it's going through whatever, right?
And
So
and then you go into the terminal, and then you're clarinet console,
yeah,
clarinet tech, test, check,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. No, so it's just amazing. So that's just what you can do with Cursor. And then, so with Cursor, you basically just put in the API or your own keys to whatever. Is it just Claude, or what does Cursor work with?
I haven't added any API keys.
Oh, wow.
How crazy is
Well,
that?
Cursor's just kind of giving this away.
Look at this.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really cool.
So it's game over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it's not. So you're not even. Well, are you paying for the Claude?
No,
Claude? Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not paying anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think people don't even know this is like, because I thought you still had to pay connected to a paid
What?
like LLM, but
And
that's
by
good.
the way, like, sure I can use it for like if I can upload, how do I upload to this thing?
Yeah, you
Uh,
could add a file there, I think. Should be able to.
let me
Also, I wanted to share, like,
go ahead.
what you're doing with all the information on stacks and how you're putting it together.
Yeah.
That thing is super cool.
So we've covered the advanced folks, right? But I don't want to lose the beginner to intermediates, because I actually think the beginners and intermediates are probably closer to the customer than
Mhm.
anyone else. And because they're close to the customer, I believe things like Cursor can help you do things like this. You think I know how to do this? No? Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Yeah,
Right?
it's
If
awesome.
we can now go from, if we've collapsed the time between ideation and manifestation, that means the people who are closest to the customers can now start prototyping, just like I did here, with
Agreed.
atomic solids, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to just walk you through uh, some very kind of beginner stuff, so that everyone else that we might have lost just now can kind of get back on board. But again, interrupt at any time.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, so this is CoinGecko. It's where a lot of people go to get the price of sacks. Or you can get v0.dev. That's right,
Mhm.
v0.dev to friggin' write the code for you.
That's
Does that
awesome.
make sense? Right?
Yeah.
You know what's so
Mhm.
funny about this one? I didn't even have the API key. It found a public API key to use.
Oh,
So
wow.
I didn't
Wait, so
expect that.
v0.dev, is that like Cursor or no?
That's like Cursor by Vercel.
I see. Interesting. So they put it in their own environment. That's very cool.
Yeah. So that's just, so how do I look at this code? Usually I can like click on something.
Right
So
there.
there it is. There's the code that I wrote. I don't know how the code works, but I said, I'd like you to help me write an app that displays the price of stacks on the page in a super stylish gradient way responsively. This code in Python, and I gave it like
Mhm.
the CoinGecko stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, insert API key here. See that?
Yeah.
It made its own API key somewhere.
Oh, wow.
It's madness. So
That
that's
is
just to give
madness.
you an idea of just how unpredictable and creative these things can get. Of course, that's my Twitter. At the top, you can see a thread of threads.
Yeah.
It has a bunch of stuff, including demos. So if
Hmm.
you go here, you're going to see a bunch of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript demos.
Yeah.
Now, this is for the beginners. Most experiences that you experience on the web are a combination of HTML, CSS, and
Yeah.
JavaScript. Of HTML that you experience on the web. Most experiences that you experience on the web are a combination of HTML, CSS, and
Yeah.
JavaScript,
Hmm.
right? And if you can get ChatGPT to give you HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can just copy and paste it over and you're good to go,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes I say, hey, write the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create
Hmm.
it, blah, blah, blah. And it says, okay, here you go. And I copy and I paste,
I love it. Yeah.
copy and I paste, and I copy and I paste. And then I run into errors and I sometimes paste the errors or my complaints back into the machine.
Yep.
It's like, hey, I can't hear the audio. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Da, 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 da.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think that's what it is. It's really just knowing how to ask the questions. For now, you need a little patience, but I think that that's just
Mhm.
getting better and better with every model. So that's
So,
the yeah, and then if you could just show just in the interest of time what you did with like all like that stacks data and how you turn it into
oh
nodes, and
yeah.
that's
So
super cool.
the stacks data is bang.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is all I had to curate the body of knowledge, right? But once I curated the body of knowledge, things like this become very simple,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll pause there, but
Well, how
that's,
deep did you go with this? Like, does it? It just links you right to different things, or what does it do?
yeah. So now you can, so my dream for what we're building for D grants is visualization here,
Mm-hmm.
chatbot over here.
Right.
Notebook LM podcasts and the price of stacks over here,
Exactly.
connected to all of the transcripts happening on Twitter Spaces. So we have a collective consciousness for stacks.
Yeah, this could even be part of, whether well, I know that you're doing your thing, but it's like, I know Stacks Link is trying to create a directory.
Mhm.
I know it, so it's like this could be an integral part of all that.
So this is where we're going with it. Imagine you have OpenBB, which is
Mhm.
the Open Bloomberg terminal,
Oh, really?
right?
Okay, I didn't
And
know
you
that.
can add all, yeah, openbb.com. These guys just installed a high-powered CEO. It's basically like, the Landies of the world. This is
Yeah,
what they use and spend $25,000 a month on, right? But
yeah,
now I can put this thing in here, right?
that's cool. Yeah,
So like, what can't you do? And right now I'm lobbying the developers to say, hey, when can I use a iframe? This is the CEO, right?
love
And
it.
so he tagged a bunch of people into the
I love it.
it just shows you can touch anyone on the planet. And I'm like, hey, when can we buy digital assets in the iframe?
Exactly.
Let me know when we can do that. And then this is now your terminal to do finance. I'll stop there. I could talk forever.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I think Stacks needs something like this. And if there's ways for us to collab and, you know, add material and things like that, um, yeah, we can discuss, but I definitely see so much growth from that. So yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I think it's all about the way you think, the questions you ask when it comes to AI, and maybe later it'll just do everything. But if you can do that really well, then I don't see a problem, because then you can explain your thinking, like, here's how I got here, here's kind of what I dealt with to go from idea to this.
Here's my
Um,
entire chat. Why don't you continue it?
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's even cooler. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. So awesome. Well, I'm glad our contract. I know some people came in later, but they got to hear you. We were able to deploy a contract that did seem to settle fairly fast. I don't think it was 10 seconds. It was like closer to 30 seconds. And we did test it. We sent the stack to our very own here. He's Unicorn launching, but so Yuana is the Twitter name. And yeah, so I'm glad we have the recording. I'll send that out, and I think we can wrap it up for today, and we can continue, next week. So it's going to be huge. Nakamoto is Tuesday, I believe, and so next Thursday it'll be kind of interesting, and all the spaces. So we'll see where we land, but I am looking forward to continuing now that Nakamoto's live. We can actually do some quote unquote testing on mainnet, as long as we don't. I think people will be, as long as, so just be careful actually, so to not interact with the wrong contracts on mainnet. So, but otherwise we're good. All right, everyone. So thank you for joining us today, and see you all again soon. I appreciate everyone coming. All right. Okay. All the best. Take care. Bye bye.